Well, hey everybody, this is Norman.
And Debbie.
And we're here at the end of week 9, so this is the end, that's a wrap. So what we're going to do today is just go rapid fire over all 20 bills that we took a position on and just give you the result. And if you want more details, you can come to our legislative report events here in a few weeks. So Debbie, why don't you kick us off?
All right, we had 2 life bills that passed this year. One made it a crime to threaten a woman with serious crimes, even if she didn't get the abortion. And then the other one was the telemedicine bill that set up specific rules so that a woman would have to have an in-person visit with a physician before she could have an abortion with the medicines, the chemical abortions.
Gotcha. Then next we'll jump into the gambling bills. There were 4 of them, and they all failed this year, which we were glad to see. 2 of them dealt with sports betting. One which would have put it online on the mobile platforms statewide, and the other which would have put it in like other facilities outside of Deadwood, because right now it's just restricted to Deadwood. Both of those failed. And then 2 video lottery bills. One would have increased the bet limit and the win limit, and so that one failed, and as did the machine increase bill. They wanted to, right now you can have 10 machines per facility. They wanted to increase that number. So we were glad to see all 4 of the gambling bills go down this year.
Yeah, and then our education bills, the Moment of Silence bill died in the first committee. The state seal motto bill passed the House. That was just to have each school display the state seal or motto. That failed on the Senate side in the first committee. CRT, the higher education bill passed that kept critical race theory out of any orientation, but the K through 12 critical race theory bill failed on the Senate side.
Yep, and a few more bills related to education. First is the Partners in Education Tax Credit Program. This year, the legislature expanded the number of donations that program can allow from $2 million to $3.5 million, so an increase in donations that are allowed. And also the Student Privacy Act, which said school locker rooms, bathrooms, etc. That one would have been, it would have just said that boys will use the boys' restroom, girls will use the girls' locker room. That one failed in a Senate committee. And we'll move to the women's sports, which is also related to education, because a lot of high school students and college students are in sports. That one passed early on in session, so we were glad to see the governor's support of that one and to see that one pass through with really strong support. So that was good to see.
Yeah, and then we had the no-fault divorce bill, which just basically said we should not make divorce easy. So that's a tough lift, but we supported that, and it did fail in the first committee, but it got more votes this year than it ever has before. So that was a good thing. The parental rights bill, that was a very simple bill that just said parental rights are fundamental, passed easily through the House, but got killed on the Senate side.
Yep, I think that was the same committee that killed the Student Privacy Act.
That was a tough committee.
Yep. So next we'll move on to the topic of commercial surrogacy, which we talked a lot about, especially at the beginning of session. So this year there were 2 essentially competing bills. One bill would have set up an established commercial surrogacy here in the state, and another bill would have said, let's use the adoption codes anytime we're transferring parental rights. So both of those bills actually failed. We were hoping to see one pass and hoping to see another fail, but actually both of those competing bills failed this year. So I'm guessing both sides will be back next year with something else, maybe a compromise, maybe each of their own bills, yet to be seen. But also on the topic of adoption, there was a bill this year from Representative Olson that said that DSS would cover the costs of private home study adoptions. So just kind of making adoption a little bit more affordable, so we were glad to see that bill go through.
Yeah, and then there was a bill that we had a lot of concerns over. It was the ability of a pregnant minor to consent to her own medical care if the parent wasn't available or the parent didn't agree. And we thought that had a lot of problems, but it squeaked through the House, and then it passed pretty overwhelmingly in the Senate. And then there was a very good bill that said when they're considering who can receive an organ transplant, that they couldn't discriminate against somebody because of their mental capacity. And so we were glad to see that passed overwhelmingly in both sides.
Yep. So that's just a rapid fire of all 20 of the bills we took a position on this year. But again, if you want to know more, come to our legislative report events. We're looking at setting that in early April, so watch for those details. And then, as always, keep going to our news feed. If you want more details on each of these bills, our legislative radar will have all this information, links to the bills, and our news feed will have more in-depth information on a lot of these topics. So thanks for joining us again this year, folks. This is week 9, so this is it for us. We'll see you at our next event.
Goodbye.